Welcome to EDM Yoga, where we breathe to the beat and live the practice on and off of the mat because life is a festival. Be sure to subscribe if you're ready to harness the power of your mind to transform your body and life with us.
Thank you guys so much for being here. My name's Christina Joy. I'm the founder of EDM Yoga, and my life has completely changed because of cleansing. Yoga is living the practice on and off of the mat, and a huge part of that is cleansing our body-mind system. What I've found in my life and in my journey is that the withdrawal of the senses is actually withdrawing from the things that do not serve us. Sugar being one of the most powerful drugs out there, substances, alcohol, all of the things. You don't have to tell yourself, I'm going to quit doing this and to heal myself. What you want to do is actually just tap into your yoga practice, because your yoga practice is going to build the relationship that you have with your body. And as you start to love and appreciate your body more and more and more, what happens is you actually don't want to hurt yourself anymore. And so you start to realize that the patterns that you're in, the things that you're reaching for that are not serving you, you just don't want to reach for those things anymore because of the practice. So allow yourself to just witness the things that you're doing that's disallowing your own freedom. Love yourself through the patterns. Practice your yoga. You can go to edmyoga.com to sign into our online portal. It's literally just approximately $1 per day for you to have access to this life-changing practice with fun music, good vibes, consciousness codes. We don't stop at the mat. We live this practice on and off of the mat, and that's what this is really about. And in this video, we're going to go for a colonic. We're actually going to go for 2 colonics with our colonic angel, Leah, who we love so much, and we're so excited to share this practice of colon cleansing and healing with you guys. And healing your skin is the same as healing your gut, as healing your entire mind-body system. And it's the practice, living the practice on and off of the mat, that helps us to release the imbalance and clear away the toxicity so that we can allow our bodies to do what it does best, which is heal itself. So I did do the Caveman Regimen for 3 years, which means that I did not wash my face for 3 years to heal my skin barrier because I was on prescription acne medicine. I used every possible case scenario product and system, and I just stripped my entire barrier of my skin, and nothing was working. Even the prescription medication wasn't working. You can go back and watch those Caveman Regimen videos to hear more about what it was like when I was in it. But now you can see I am wearing makeup. I do wash my face. My mind-body system is completely clear, and so my skin is clear, which is such an amazing benefit, right, to this work. Now, the 2 cleanses that I did in this video to show you what the process is like of the colonic would be, the first one I did was the mucoid plaque. Mucoid plaque looks like this. It is this plaque-like substance that is inside of our colon. It's like, basically looks like rubbery tar that literally comes out of you. And Leah's going to explain the workings of the system so you can see. She'll have a little chart that's going to show you like how your entire digestive system works, which is so powerful and so beautiful. And while I'm cleansing and while I'm fasting, I'm always doing my fasted breath work, which you can watch this video and do that as your morning practice. It's so healing to be able to combine not only the physical practice of cleansing with what you're putting into your body, but also what you're doing with your body during that cleanse. So there's so much more than just water fasting, juice fasting, doing mucoid plaque herbs, doing the liver flush, all of these things. It's actually a macrocosmic practice because you are a multidimensional being, and not only are you going to experience the release of the toxicity in your body, but you're also going to experience the release of the toxicity in your mind and in your energetic field. You guys, we are here with Leah, the colonic angel, who was named the colonic angel by Anna Bliss, one of my dear friends, and been coming to her ever since. She has this beautiful space here in LA. So if you're in the area, this is my #1 recommendation for a place where you can come to cleanse your body, your mind, and your soul, because she focuses on holistic wellness, the whole person, every aspect of you.
So I want to give you an overview of what to expect when you're going to do a session of colon hydrotherapy. The first thing you're going to receive is an email from me just welcoming you and letting you know that the only preparation you need is to not eat a big meal before you come in. You're going to complete an intake form that's going to tell me if you have any medical conditions, and then you're going to be with me on the table for 45 minutes where we just bring in warm water and let let that go. And then you'll end up in the restroom for about 10 minutes or so, just letting go of the water. And then we're going to come into my office. And I'm not a big believer in supplements, but I do carry things that I take personally. So we wouldn't want to necessarily start with a probiotic, but maybe there's an issue with constipation. Maybe there's some digestive enzymes that need to be supportive for that, or anything else that we can kind of take a look at so that we can create a game plan for your health.
I am getting ready. All I had to do was not eat a huge meal before coming in. I am doing the liver flush this time, so I've been having malic acid for the last few days in the form of tart cherry juice and apple juice. And when you come in, she gives you your gown. You can put this on, you can leave your shirt on, and you take your bottoms off. And that's literally all I have to do. And she takes care of the rest.
So we're going to do a session of colon hydrotherapy, which just means the introduction of warm water into the intestines to clear it out so that we can feel better. So whenever you go to a colon hydrotherapy appointment, you're going to see your own packet of tubing, and this is a one-time use disposable packet here. So we've opened one, so we see the packaging here, and then we've hooked up the tube. So we have a clean water line bringing in filtered water into the tube that's going to go into the body, and then another tube that gets connected that's going to be a waste tube. And this is called a viewing tube, so we actually get to see what comes out of the body, and that's kind of fun because it involves you being informed about your own health.
So I drank a lot of water before I came because in my mind, I always think like more water, the better. But now I'm learning that you actually don't have to drink as much water before you come because you're going to be being hydrated from the outside in a different way. And it's also better to not have to use the restroom during the session. So we just did the insertion, which is not a big deal at all. It's just part of the process, and once you do it once, you completely get past of any weird energy that you might have in your head.
If you're scared, don't be. If you're with a good therapist, the whole process is very easy. It's people that think that it's going to be painful or that something in their little tushy is going to be weird, but it's not like that at all. We're just placing a very small tube into the rectum, and then we're just bringing in some warm water and then letting that water just pass by your own muscle contraction. And it should be a very comforting, relaxing, spiritual experience because you're vibrating at a higher level when you love yourself enough to take care of your body. And I'm here to guide you through anything that comes up, whether that's mental, emotional, spiritual, physical. So the process of colon hydrotherapy is actually very holistic in nature. We have something called peristalsis. So when we have waste in the body will expel it through a muscle contraction. So there's no pump on this machine. There's nothing that's going to be harsh in the body. If you do go to somebody and maybe, I've heard people have cramping or maybe it feels a little fast, you always want to communicate with your therapist and slow it down. So my personal style is based on the inner child and moving the body into a parasympathetic state. So when my client leaves, they will feel very relaxed and healed and very balanced in their nervous system, because the enteric nervous system is really the goal with this. People think it's the colon, which is great. We all want to clean out the colon and feel healthy. That's wonderful. But really moving the body into parasympathetic is how we heal.
So we're filling right now, and this is kind of how the machine works.
Okay. So we have a pressure gauge, and because the water is filling, I'm watching the pressure gauge and it's reading the inside of your little belly here. And so the pressure is nice and low, and I have a little flow control here that I can regulate in that. And then when the pressure gets a little higher, I'm just going to check in and I'm going to say, do you feel like you need to use the restroom? Because we're putting water into basically a little balloon, right? And so you'll feel it go past a lot of air. You'll kind of feel it go up and down. And then there's kind of a clear indication, and I'll see it before sometimes you even feel it. And then what we'll do is we'll just take, this is called the waste control, and then we'll just take the water off. And then we have the water that went in is now going to flow out of the body, and it's going to take out any material that may be in the microbiome that really shouldn't be in there. So it's very holistic. We never want to do anything to the body that isn't in rhythm with the body's natural cleansing process. So what went in must come out, right? So then we've got the microbes coming out here, and we're just cleaning the inside of the colon. And I was talking to a client yesterday. I hear so many things from, like, there's a lot of misinformation out there, right? It's kind of a shame, but she wanted to do a cleanse, and I asked her what her intention for the cleanse was, because I follow an ideology given by the Essenes. So the Essenes were nomadic priests that used their body as a temple. So they didn't have a place to go. They would just put food at the altar of their feet, and they cleansed a lot. And so I follow this mentality of, like, when we cleanse our body, and it doesn't have to be all the time, because, of course we want to live our lives, but when we do a cleanse, the idea is that we create purification in order to be closer to God's spirit universe, right? So whenever I do a cleanse, and I might do a mono meal, or I'm just like, just bringing in raw foods, I can feel my spirit, my vibration get higher. I have a sense of being closer to my hopes, my dreams, my manifestations. I'm just in a clean vehicle, and I'm loving myself in a place that isn't about getting skinny or doing some, fasting cleanse, or just, starving myself, because white knuckling through it isn't the reason somebody does a cleanse. So I was able to suggest to this client, putting an intention with whatever you're doing will help you stay, focused on what you want to get out of it.
Exactly. Yes. Our intention, our sankalpa, is always to heal and release the humanness. I'm getting a really good fill right now.
I have a lot of clients that come in. They're mostly women because of the hormone disruptors that we're exposed to. So a lot of women come to me because they're bloated, or they're gaining weight and they don't know why, or they're not sleeping well, probably because they have high cortisol, or their skin is a wreck. So they're looking for balance. And I would say the first thing we need to do as human beings is to detoxify the body, to get the drainage going, because skin is always playing off of the kidneys and the liver. And if we're ingesting things, maybe we have a perfect diet, but if there's discord in the body, we have to create circadian rhythm and balance, and detoxification is the way to do that. So there's only 7 things that can affect the microbiome of the body. So we've got fungus, yeast, bacteria, viruses, heavy metals, parasites. If I didn't say mold is a big one. And then my expertise is in stress and trauma. And so those things are impacting the gut, but the symptoms are why people come and see me.
So the bile that comes out of the liver, if it's stuck in there, is that what then ends up being encapsulated into stones?
Okay, so this is what's so cool about the body, because we really focus a lot on the colon, but the colon is just the bottom of the drain, right? So what's right above the colon is the liver. It's 500 daily functions. It's my favorite topic to talk about, because it's just everything. It's your energy, it's your hormones, it's your sex drive, it's your skin, it's just everything. Okay, so inside of this large organ, it's your largest internal organ. Think about like little ant farms, like you can visualize that. So metabolic waste comes from all over the body and ends up in the liver. And the metabolic waste that can't be used goes through the canals, and it makes these little stones, just like snowballs. And then they end up in the little bladder underneath the liver. That's called your gallbladder. And if we have too much metabolic waste that's like piling on itself, you will get gallstones. And remember that gallbladder removal is the #1 surgery in America, because so many people have these, inorganic materials. Think of phthalates and dioxins and glyphosate and microplastics and these things that we don't even know we're exposed to. So a lot of people think that the body is self-cleansing, and it is. But in this day and age, and I can tell you from personal experience, when I was exhausted and had so much weight gain and bad skin and just depression. So all of these symptoms, once I started cleaning up the environment, but it's really key. So I saw the liver, releasing. Oh my God, I got my life back. And so that's the importance of the liver. And so those stones, getting them out are really, really key. So I love colonics because it's always going to flush the liver and the gallbladder. And then you take it a step up and do a liver flush.
Yes, and that's what I'm doing right now. And so curious, the liver stones, they are the green ones, and the gallbladder stones are the brown ones. Are gallbladder stones liver stones that have been there for longer and then they turn brown? Or how does that work?
Yeah, so they're all different colors, and I would say gallstones and liver stones are really the same thing. It's just that what you're suggesting is the liver stones are more in the liver, and then, as you said, the gallstones have made it down into the organ of the gallbladder. So they're different colors for different reasons. So bile is made up of red blood cells as the base, and then we have lymphatic fluid, which is yellow. And so that's going to be green in nature from the liver, but the tan ones or the brown ones, they can have high cholesterol.
Oh.
So, or they're going to have more bilirubin, which is more the red blood cells. So if you think about the trillions of blood cells that we have in our body, that's why we call it metabolic waste. It's people think that we are just what we eat, but what about hormones and enzymes and all of the mitochondria waste that the body produces? That is what makes up bile. And then the bile helps us, with digestion. It goes into the small intestine, helps us with that. Just like it breaks down fats. So we need it for sure, but it's all kinds of different colors because they're different things that are in those stones.
Oh.
If you've ever seen, I've passed stones before that are very marbled. So they'll be like brown and then black and then a green. And those have been sitting in there a very long time.
Wow.
And I've gotten those out, and I've had the experience of rage when they came out. I'm not a rageful person. I'm not even angry. I probably, if anything, maybe suppress some of my anger because of my childhood. But the truth is, the rage was about, social injustice and things that were in my cellular awareness. And so moving through those and feeling them, that was my liver flush. It was really like a very spiritual experience for me.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm feeling pretty full, so she's going to release.
Yay! Whee!
Bye.
And you're not feeling anything, right? It's just a very natural process. And again, your own body is taking the material out. So to me, I'm a total germaphobe. We're not smelling or feeling, or we're not but I see this as a movie. I see this as just information, because what you ate, that becomes your thoughts, your feelings, your blood, your muscles, your tendons, your bones, anything that got processed through your body through this machinery, is now the waste is being taken out. And I'm not a medical provider, so I'm not offering any suggestions or medical advice, but we do get to see if there's a lot of mucus, or maybe there's hard stool, or some suggestions that can be made that may indicate what's going on inside the body. But now what's going on inside the body. So holistic work is always collaborative. It's always about you and I talking about the health of your liver, your gallbladder, your colon, your skin, your energy. Because if we don't feel good physically, how do we even get to our mental, emotional, spiritual part? Because I always say you can't live your hopes and dreams if you have a stomach ache, right?
That's true.
So we want to clear the pathways and move the body into parasympathetic, clear out any debris that may not be supporting us in our movement and our breath and our energy and our connections and our intimacy. These things are getting in the way. And I would say in modern society, I don't think it's avoidable. to not be taking care of ourselves physically. I think this is honestly the holy grail. I feel like this is the answer. At least it was for me. I did, this did save my life because I had so many health issues that I just could not figure out on my own. And I felt like crap all the time. So, even just doing 3 of these, I got my entire life back. I stopped being bloated. I got more energy. My depression went away. My skin cleared up, and all the things. And now it's been 30 years, and I still use this practice when I need it. So you feel really good. A lot of my clients present as almost like a beach ball of air. And I tell them that, you know, by the time they come and see me, and they're seeing symptoms, it's been about 3 to 10 years prior to the body actually giving signals that there's an imbalance. So that trip to Bali that you took, you know, 5 years ago, and maybe you got some parasites or a vector or bacteria, can literally be showing up currently because of the dysbiosis that's going on. It takes time for the problems to show up, but I am a big fan of clearing out, starting over, right? Just, you know, instead of reaching for a lot of supplements or changing your diet, you know, consider doing something that's been done for millennium. This is from the Egyptians. This is from the Chinese. You know, people have been using this therapy for so many hundreds of years, and it saved my life. It saved your life. And I'm so grateful that I have this as a tool in my life. Called bile. Bile is released from the liver and gallbladder, and this is why you're here, to get this out so that you are doing a liver flush in a clean system. So anything that's solid, that's just, you know, food that you eat and these kind of things. But the bile is really the key because that's coming from the liver. And remember that your skin, your breath, your eyes, your fatigue, your hormones, oh gosh, your libido, anything that's really a system in the body is being regulated by the health of your liver.
It's so cool that the liver is releasing all of this by virtue of just sending the water into the colon.
Yes, yes. And it's, like I said, it's very holistic because it's also very hydrating. So the water that comes in, it's very filtered, and a lot of people are very dehydrated. Even though they drink tons of water, that's a misnomer because water isn't very hydrating because it doesn't have any live electrolytes in it. So hydration really comes from the key of the core of the colon, which we put water in to be absorbed. So my clients will notice that they urinate a lot after their session because it's flushing the lymphatic system. It's also being absorbed to then be flushed through the kidneys. And the kidneys are hard to cleanse because they have tight nephrons, and they're, you'll see that, you know, it's the chi, right? You'll see that in fatigue or just general malaise. So we want to address all body systems and make sure that it's very holistic. Yourself, right?
What do you recommend to eat post-colonic?
So I always send a message to my clients right before they leave so that they have the information in their inbox so they're not confused about what to eat. So a lot of people think that you want to eat something healthy, right? I think, again, that's a misnomer because what we want to do is what's going to nourish us. So your diet can only appear from your own clean body, right? Your diet isn't out there. It's not in a book. It's not in an ideology. It's not in someone else's like thoughts or marketing. It's really about like from a clean place, because we're mammals, your diet will appear. So I'll get a colonic and then I'll go to the store and my hand literally will pick up what I need. And I'm out of the equation, right? Because left to my own devices, I'm going to eat some, I don't know, like I'm going to eat a salad or something. And like, if your body is like already doing all this work, do we really want to add more work to it? So sometimes I'll just do a sweet potato or some protein or some rice or whatever would feel good to me. But I love, love, love that intuitive space that I'm connecting to me about what my highest needs are.
Yes. And that's such a good conversation too, because I think when you're congested and your colon isn't clean,
you're intuitively going to want to eat sugar or things that maybe aren't as good for you because you're relating to the toxicity in your body. Whereas after you clean out, you're going to feel like you want something that's so nourishing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because are operating in a sympathetic state. So again, the enteric nervous system, this is our fight or flight, right? So we have adrenaline, cortisol, we have hormones that are coming in to keep us on high alert. So when we have high alert in the body is going to need glycogen and glucose in the liver because it perceives that we're going to have to run at any moment. So when we have stress in our lives, we actually are going to deeply crave fats and sugars. So it's no one's fault that they're just like, oh my God, I want to grab a quick bite, or, you know, I'm like really craving French fries or whatever. And then they make themselves wrong for it. Like, oh my God, I didn't have the willpower to like not eat the French fries. Well, honey, you're in fight or flight all the time. So your body doesn't want like these yin cold foods. It wants something that you can survive on, which is fats and sugars. So we need to keep in mind that the body is this metabolic powerhouse that has nothing to do with like good and bad. You know, the world is our oyster. What I'm offering here is freedom from all the thoughts that we're conditioned to as women, to be thin, to, you know, to not feel enough, to keep chasing the tail of health, when we need balance, we need flow, we need encouragement, we need support, but we need to feel connection within us. And that takes the body to go into that parasympathetic state and stay there so we can get clarity and objectivity and knowingness. But until that happens, most of my clients are just doing supplements and feeling bloated or feeling tired. And, you know, those that get to me are supposed to be with me. So I love that.
It's so true.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys who know me know my skin. I used to have cystic acne. Now it's so healthy and clear. And you guys know I've done the Caveman Regimen, and it turns out that Leah does a similar vibe with her skin. Tell us about what you do for your
Well,
skin.
I'm significantly older, but I have never like washed my face or used anything on my skin. I've used mostly coconut oil and castor oil, but honestly, you guys, I used to have really bad skin, and I used colonics to help clear my skin because, you know, this is all a living organ, right? And it's only reflective of what's going on in the liver and the kidneys. And so I had all this congestion, particularly I was constipated too. So I wasn't eliminating the trash that was coming out of my skin. I mean, it makes so much sense. And so people ask me about my skin all the time, and I do nothing to it. I don't give facials. I don't do, oh my God, extractions, anything like that. But I do colonics. I keep up with my internal cleansing, and I know I'm going to age better.
Oh yeah. No, it makes such a big difference. And my mom, my grandma, actually always said, like, do nothing to your skin and you'll be good, and your skin is the best.
Yeah, because
so you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your practice?
Well, you're my ideal client. You're open-minded. You understand the process of detoxification, but you also want to incorporate the mind, body, and spirit connection. So you might know that I hold a master's in spiritual psychology, because we've got to fold in, as you mentioned about the inner child before and the work that we do together. And the three lower chakras are our inner child, they're our subconscious. And so colon hydrotherapy to me is the physical way to release, but also addressing what might be kind of hidden or we're holding on to. Even if it's just sometimes just breathing and maybe just holding space for whatever comes up. Particularly a safe place, right? Because, you know, I'm not judgmental about anything. We've all been through everything, and there's no time, there's no need to be judgmental about everything. You know, Einstein says the brain that has the problem isn't the brain that fixes it. And so, you know, sometimes what's in our subconscious, we can't see, it's in our blind spot, right? So I use my intuition. Because when I put my hands on people, the energy of the little belly is completely different than the person. Isn't that interesting? So sometimes I'll feel a holding. And with you, I felt kind of this like just waiting to me, you know, kind of like, you know, what's next? And as you kind of relax into a parasympathetic state of healing, then that's the work, right? The colonic is the physical. It's the way to get out the material of the colon, but more importantly, the liver, right? And to hydrate the body. But in that space of healing, we also want to integrate what we're holding on to, right? And having that understanding. So I'm so glad that you understood that and took that into your cleanse and, your understanding. Oh, it's so healing. What do you think is the best protocol in terms of someone who's never done a colonic before? They've never done a water fast. They've never done a juice fast. They're just learning about mucoid plaque and the liver flushes and all of these things. What do you think would be like the perfect order of embarking on these protocols? Yeah, I think that's a really important question, because if you do it wrong, you might get sick and then you'll be put off by the whole thing, right? Yeah. So there's something called herxing, which is when you feel worse before you get better. So you want to do it properly so that you don't have like a major, shift and kind of have the cleanse fail. So I would say doing a session of colon hydrotherapy without any prep. Yeah. Just starting there to open up the pathways, because we have to hydrate. We have to open up the common bile duct of the liver and the gallbladder. We have to open up the bottom of the drain, the colon. And then in that space, maybe there's some other things we can incorporate, as you said, about the mind body. And I think from there, starting there and then having a conscious conversation with your therapist to say, what are my next steps? Because maybe it's mono meal, maybe jumping into a juice fast is a fast detox, and maybe that person's not ready for that. Yeah. And so it has to be practical, but it has to be tailored to the person. Yeah. But I would say first colonics. And I do hear a lot of people say, I want to prep before I do colon hydrotherapy, but you don't have to. Yeah. You can just do it in the state that you're in, and then the therapist can help you understand like what you need further. Right. Yeah. Also, whoever you go to, don't let them sell you on a package. Always start with one, because who you're with as a therapist is so important, because it's such a interpersonal relationship. Mm-hmm. And as you said, it's a therapy. Yeah. Right. So we're just, taking care of our inner child, right? And that needs to be a safe place. And then the person, I'm encouraging my clients to use their own intuition. Come in when you need to. Yeah. Don't let me tell you when the right time is. Be cleansed enough that you're intuitively creating your diet and your supplements and your cleanses and your colonics, but you're your own best doctor. Yeah. Right? We don't want to give our power away to anybody else other than ourselves. So thank you for that reminder.
Do a technique. We name it low and slow. So we keep the pressure very low and we just go really slow, right? Because again, if we're trying to have the body in a parasympathetic state, we don't want to jolt it. So I think sometimes people want it to be kind of like get in there and be aggressive, but we have to have people leave in a parasympathetic state, because you can't heal in a sympathetic state. Everybody's in already, right? Go, go, go.
It's so true. I always used to find myself like trying to just get the most out of everything humanly possible, and like going so hard like that. It really just drains your energy, and you actually get less out of it.
Yeah.
So interesting.
And it's not in the feminine.
Yeah.
Right? The feminine is to receive.
Yeah.
It's not to produce, which is masculine. So the more that we're out there like killing it at our jobs and doing the relationships and the friendships and all the things, that's a lot of expended energy. So what are we doing to receive and recover? Right? So I love this for many reasons. The recovery is wonderful. Okay, so we have water coming in, and whenever you feel the urge to use the restroom, that is creating a little bit of pressure. And so what's happening inside the colon is it's going to contract, and that's called peristalsis. And so when you feel the need to release, we'll just release that water. So I can see that it's very low, right? So it might take a little bit of time. Oh, it's okay. like people want to see like, oh, clear is good, right? That we want to get to that. Right. But the liver produces a quart of bile a day. So we always want to be seeing bile go through, or lymphatic fluid coming from the cisterna chyli that dumps into the colon as well. So, liver stones are created, it's your largest internal organ, but we're bombarded with a lot of things that the body doesn't know what to do with. Yeah. So if you think of the liver and having these, like, we call them biliary canals, like kind of like ant farms. Yeah. All of that material, phthalates, dioxins, glyphosate, all these things that are the body doesn't know what to do with, will take it through those biliary canals, and it kind of makes a snowball. And then it eventually travels down into the bladder of the liver. That's called the gallbladder. And they just kind of sit there. We also have concentrations of bile. So when you eat fat, it goes into the small intestines and breaks down and also cleans the small intestine, which is really important. So you'll probably never get rid of gallstones, but when you're doing colonics and flushing the gallbladder in the liver and keeping the drain open, you won't be subject to the #1 surgery in America, which is gallbladder removal. Yeah, we need our organs, and we particularly need the bile in here to be cleaning the small intestine. Yeah, and also getting rid of those stones. Yeah, because they build up. Yeah. And then they block what's called the common bile duct, and then the bile can't go through into the small intestine, and that's when you have problems. Yeah. They're called gallbladder attacks. Or when a person eats fat, they feel sick, or, so allopathic medicine just takes out the organ. Right. So what happens when you take out that organ, it just continuously drips into the small intestine. But it also puts a lot of pressure on the pancreas, because the pancreas is also, like, involved with digestion. Right. So everything has to work harder, right, except for that job that's not being done. Yeah, exactly. The crazy little thing, because I needed to find the perfect vibration. So I like to think of this as like, if you have a crying baby, you can put them on a washing machine, right, and it calms the vestibular system. Yeah. So this being the child of the body, this is the perfect vibration to kind of help let it go and calm it down. Yeah. And it's going to just help release any material and air that's in here. It feels very good. Yeah, it feels good. Yeah. It's very soothing. Yeah. The body likes vibration. So this is 25 feet of all the small intestines. We talked about the gallbladder. Yeah. This is on a great diagram, so it didn't show the connections, but that gallbladder is connected into the top of the small intestine. So the green is the small. Yeah. And then right in here, this ileocecal valve is where all that material, everything gets extracted. The nutrients go where they need to go. This is an amazing process. It's very, very delicate in here. But then when it gets to the large intestine here on the right side, it's got to go all the way up, all the way across. And then, as you said, the sigmoid is the last stop. So the sigmoid being that this is kind of like a little hammock here. Yeah. It's a little station for us. I don't think we're taught anything of how to maintain this vehicle. I think that it's a way to keep people disempowered. Yeah. And if you don't give knowledge, then you're subject to go and find somebody who has knowledge. And then, I hate to be hard on allopathic medicine, but I do know how it was set up, right? There's all the schools were bought to use surgery and pharmaceuticals. And so we find ourselves as customers of health. We want both now. We want Eastern and Western. Yeah. There's a place for Western, right? Yeah. But there's no preventative care. So I feel like what I'm doing here is helping people save their life. So they're not in a system that's not serving them, right? And so you're in it, you're, it takes consciousness, it takes awareness, it takes a great deal of responsibility. And then I am going to help my clients understand kind of the bits and pieces, the anatomy, because when I was sick at 27, I didn't know anything, so I've been bounced around to doctors, and then I was like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. Right. So colonics helped save my life, changing my diet, but more importantly, the cleansing. Because I kind of like to use the analogy of I use this as, it's like a fish tank. And if all the fish are dead, arrow one food sprinkled on top isn't going to save them, right? Exactly. So you might as well put a burger on there, right? So food isn't always the thing that we change in health. Believe it or not. In my work, it's not. Diet and exercise really have nothing to do with health because my clients are so healthy.
Yeah.
They just, their passageways aren't open, or maybe they have too much cortisol, or maybe they're working until 10 p.m. every night, or maybe they're not sleeping, or maybe they're in a toxic relationship, or maybe they have like problems with their parents, or, whatever, name the problem. There's discord in the body.
Mm-hmm.
So when we can kind of create a place of letting go, that in and of itself can help us reconnect to ourselves.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game.
Totally. And then you can process everything so much easier.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have to be so all or nothing. I think before I started cleansing, I thought that I needed to be militant about everything. But once I realized that the body's going to heal itself when I relax, so I'm going to get a better result if I'm relaxed. And then from that place of having a clean, pure body, having a seed oil once in a while at a restaurant isn't going to kill me.
Yeah. Well, at least you know the contrast.
Right.
Yeah, I never did the militant thing because I learned pretty early on that being harsh about something is in the conscious mind. It's like checking boxes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay, there's all the air. Okay, here we go, sweets.
Yeah.
Payload tools in the way here.
Uh,
Oh, good. Okay, so do you see the movement there?
yeah.
That's your own muscle contraction. That's called paracelsus. Now, the darkness is the liver. That's the bile.
Awesome.
So whenever I work with my clients, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
I don't care about what's in the colon. Because the colon is by definition actually just a muscle.
Right.
So this darkness of the liver here is so, so key.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
It's preparing the liver to do the liver flush too.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. The way that a liver flush is scheduled is you do a colonic before you do the flush and then after. Yeah. So you're definitely prepping for it for sure. Yeah, and then you've got a little bit of material in there. That's the plaque, as you said. It's fun to actually kind of see what's going on inside of the body.
Right?
It's very it's very educational.
Yeah.
It feels very inclusive.
And then I love the amazing liver and gallbladder flush because it's all stuff that you just buy at the grocery store.
Oh yeah, Andreas Moritz's book. Yeah. He's passed now, but he was an amazing practitioner, and the gallbladder flush has been around forever. Yeah. It's always been done like this. In the 70s, you did it with Coke because you could pour Coca-Cola over a carburetor and it'll take all the gunk off. Wow. That's the carbonation. That's the strength in it. That's why when they carry the raw ingredients of cola, it has to have a hazmat on it. Anyway, now they understand, like, when you do a fat, you want a vitamin C with it. So they're always going to have like a lemon or a grapefruit. I do orange now just because it tastes better, but I did it forever with just lemon. Yeah. So it's because, the oil can oxidize and you want that vitamin C just as a balancer. But I think the gallbladder flush, I think that's also imperative. Why we're not doing that as a culture is bizarre.
It's so bizarre. I've never even heard of it before, and I thought I had really known a lot about cleansing, and then when I found it, I was like, oh wow.
Oh yeah, he just put it together in a book.
Yeah.
So I do reference his book a lot because it's so easy, and it has pictures and it goes into the depth around it. He really just kind of put it all in one place with, like you said, household ingredients that are really easy.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's good. Yeah.
There you go. Hey. Okay, so that's your own body pushing that out. There's some air, so you probably were a little bit bloated on this. But everything is broken down. Everything looks really good.
Good.
Bile is mostly red blood cells, so we want it to be brown, which yours is, which is optimal, which is great. Always pay attention to what is available in your hemisphere, in your city, in your town, your state, and try and eat as local as you can, because the weather is determining what you need in terms of produce, right? So cherries are such a good example because cherry season is very short. It's like May and June, right? But people have a lot of allergies then. And cherries, the red pigment is really good to support allergies.
Oh, wow.
And so it's perfectly timed to when the flowers are blooming and there's pollen in the air that people are ingesting all these cherries they can get in because they're a short season, right? And so, so you're talking about apples and, you know, apples really are a fall food. Because the body is preparing for storage in the winter.
Right.
So all of that pectin is good to flush the bowels, right? So the more you can kind of cleanse, that's why fall cleanses are so important. And you always want to time it with like warmer weather. Because cleansing during the winter time is a little counterintuitive. Because you want to be building. You don't really want to be cleansing. And I think back to our conversation about having people understand cleansing is it also has to kind of make sense for the body. It's not just something you put on a calendar and do.
Right.
Because that's, again, devoid of your own intuition.
Yeah.
I only cleanse like you are, like right now, where it's warm. Right? Because we have water foods available, right? We've got cantaloupe. I'm eating so much watermelon right now. And, which actually is really high in fiber, by the way. They're very, very hydrating as well. And, I'm eating, some grapes and all these kind of things that are like high water content. Well, we're sweating. So we're replenishing, which is true hydration, which is through food.
Right.
And this is ultimate hydration.
The best.